All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to start off by saying, Call Halal, Lahabanawa, Yahawah, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Arakal Kodash, and double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone of well. Peace and blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect, the Bayath, the Dawadah, the house of David. All right, so we're going to entitle this one at the end. All right, let's go right into it. Let's put this here. So I put here, the Apocrypha was around before the time of Yahawah, right? So it gives me this in the AI overview, right? It says, yes, the books commonly referred to as the Apocrypha was written before the time of Yahawah, and absolutely, we know that, right? It says these books was composed during the intratestamental period, roughly between 400 BCE, which means before the Christ era, or as they say, Christ era, all right, or I'll just say the common era, because the Lord's name is not Christ. The Lord's name is Yahawah, all right, in the 1st century CE, according to the Gospel Coalition, right, which was pretty much the Bible. Pretty much they had a Bible destruction group. I forgot the coalition, the Gospel Coalition. There you go. It says this period bridges the time between the Old and the New Testaments, right? So the King James Bible, right, 1611, has the Apocrypha right in the middle of it, right? Because you had during the time you had the Assyrian Empire, all right? You had the Babylonian Empire where Daniel was, right? So the Babylonian Empire in the Persian Empire, which Daniel was a part of. The Babylonian Empire and the Persian Empire, which Daniel was a part of. So the Medo-Persian Empire, all right, the Medes and the Persians, okay? And then you had the Assyrian Empire, which was during the time where the prophets Jonah, Nehemiah, Micah, Hosea, and Amos was around. And Tobit, right? Tobit, the book of Tobit. Now, see, they always want to say the Apocrypha is not canonical or not a part of the Bible. That is a complete lie. The Apocrypha is a part of the Bible, right? And then furthermore on, to understand that the Apocrypha is a part of the Bible, which we know that it is, but these so-called Christians out here, or these Christians, these bugged out Christians out here, all right, when you bring up the Apocrypha, they say, oh, that book is not scriptural. That book is not canonical. Well, that book is canonical, okay, because it speaks about the Feast of Dedication, right, which Yahawah kept the Feast of Dedication, right, which was the Maccabean Revolt. During the time when you had Judas Maccabees, right, Antiochus Epiphanes IV, all right, was the ruler of the Seleucid Empire, okay, during 175 BC, all right, and then you had the revolt between Mattathias, right, which was 167 BC, right, during his resistance with a group by the name of the Judas Maccabees, all right, okay, all right. So during those time periods, right, it would speak about it there. So you need that history. In order to correlate that history, in order to correlate the Bible and to understand you have to have that part of history. How can you be missing that whole part of history and say, oh, that book is not canonical? That's a damn lie. All right, that's a complete damn lie. Okay. In order for you to put the 4 kingdoms together that was spoken about in the book of Daniel, you have to have that part of it, right? Because Yahawah came during the time of the Roman Empire. He came about around during the time of the Roman Empire, which we know Herod, all right, or Herod the Great, or they called him the Great. He wasn't great for nothing. Okay, it was just one of his titles. but Herod was around doing then. Okay, you see. So what pretty much what I'm proving is that the book, all right, the whole book, okay, the whole book of the Apocrypha is canonical. Tobit, right? Tobit was around there during the time of Nineveh. Okay, that's where Nineveh was being judged by Yahawah. Yahawah has sent these prophets, right, which was Jonah, Nehemiah, Micah, Hosea, and Amos to prophesy against Nineveh. All right, and then Tobit Tobit and his father and all of them were carried away during that time. Okay, now I'm gonna go into the scripture. I'm gonna show you. All right, and then I'm gonna go into the book of Second Kings, the 17th chapter, and I'm gonna show you that as well. All right, so you understand that history does coincide. Okay, you have to understand that to put this whole thing together, you have to have all parts of working phases, which is of the Bible, which is of the Apocrypha is part of it. You have to have all working phases to understand the history, to break it down. This is why they was calling themselves Greeks, right? During the time, the Greeks, or you were calling yourselves a Roman, or think those are what you'd be called Israelites, who were Gentile, who were in a Gentile state of mind, man. All right. That's why when Paul was going there, he said, "I was going to teach the Gentiles." He was going to teach Israelites, man. He was going to teach Israelites. When Yahawah said, he said, "Repent, for the kingdom is at hand," he was talking to Israelites. Okay? He said, I'm not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. He was talking about Israelites and Israelites only. All right? You see? So now, let's go in here. Let's go in here. Let's go back here. Yeah. Let's get out of here. Let's go into the book of Tobit. Matter of fact, before we go into the book of Tobit, let's go into the book of 2 Kings, the 17th chapter, and Hosea the reigns over Israel. All right, so let's go here. It says in the 25th, or the 20th year of Ahaz, king of Judah, began Hosea the son of Elah to reign in Samaria over Israel 9 years. And he did that which was evil in the sight of Yahawah, but not as the kings of Israel that were before him. Against him came up Shalmaneser, all right, Manasseh, king of Assyria, and Hosea became his servant and gave him presents. And the king of Assyria found conspiracy in Hosea, right? Okay, it says, for he has sent messengers to So king of Egypt, and brought no present to the king of Assyria, as he had done year by year before. The king of Assyria shut him up and bound him in prison. The king of Assyria came up throughout all the land and went up to Samaria and besieged it 3 years. It says, in the 9th year of Hosea, the king of Assyria placed them. Salakia, let me read this again. It says, verse 6, it says, in the 9th year of Hosea, the king of Assyria took Samaria and carried Israel away to Assyria, and placed them in Halah, in the harbor by the river of Gozan, in the cities of the Medes. All right. Okay. So this is what it's talking about, man. All right. This is where where the northern kingdom was carried away by the Assyrian, the the Assyrian Empire. Okay, all right. So that's where you get what Tobit is talking about. So let's go into the book of Tobit. Salakia. Let's go down here. Matter of fact, let's just go and read why they fell, so you understand. This is why we fell. Northern Kingdom, to be per se. It says, "For so it was that the children of Israel had sinned against Yahawah, their power, which had brought them up out of the land of Egypt from under the hand of Pharaoh, the king of Egypt." Right, which was, it said, it had feared other gods and walked in the statutes of the heathen, whom Yahawah cast out from before the children of Israel, which they're not the children of Israel, it's the sons of Israel, were the bun. All right, so it would be the sons of Israel and all the kings of Israel, which they had made. All right, because there's no children in Hebrew. There's only sons, meaning bun. All right. It says when you mention your name, you go, I'm such and such from a bun of Yahawah, or whatever tribe you're from. All right. And it says, and the children of Israel did secretly those things which were not right against the Lord, their power, and they brought them high places in all their cities, from the tower of watchmen to the fenced cities. And they set them up images and groves in every high hill and under every green tree. Right, so pretty much idol worshiping, man. Idol worshiping, praising other gods. The Lord got rid of. We ain't supposed to do that, man. You ain't supposed to be praising down no other gods, man. All right? You ain't supposed to be idol worshiping, man. Okay, and burning incense and mirth into these other damn gods and all that, man. You going off, man. And praising images and all that, man. And groves and things like that to put food up under there and worship and eat. Nah, man. You supposed to be doing none of that, man. All right? So that's the reason why they got carried away behind that. All right? It's the reason why we got carried away. This is history. The Northern Kingdom. Okay? Which today would be the so-called Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, all right? Mexicans. Okay, the Cubans. So-called. Those are their so-called names. Those are their slave names. But really, they're from the tribe of Manasseh, Ephraim, so on and so forth. Issachar. All right? So now, let's go into the book of Tobit. All right? So the book of Tobit, when Tobit was speaking, he was talking about Nineveh, man. This is why we know that this is why we know that the book of Tobit is canonical, that all the books of the Apocrypha are canonical, because the Lord followed after the Feast of Dedication, which is talked about in the Maccabees, which is First Maccabees and Second Maccabees. All right? You see? So you got those clowns out there, all right, or whatever clown from out of whatever church they come out of, or whatever theological cemetery school that they've been in, they don't know they don't know nothing. They don't know no history. They're not scholarly deep. All right, they don't know anything because they don't go study. Just because they know a couple words, that don't mean that they know anything. They don't know anything. They don't go into the Bible deeply like we do. Okay? Because we are the people. We are the Hebrew Israelites. There's no getting around it. Okay? That's it. We are the people of the Bible that the Bible speaks of. All right? And you are living in biblical prophecy. Okay? So let's just read some of the book of Tobit. All right? So I'm going to go put this in. So it says, let's read this. He was from the tribe of Naphtali. Look at that. Look at that. How was he from the tribe of Naphtali? right? But this book is not canonical. But Tobit is from the tribe of Naphtali. Okay, that's a northern tribe. All right. It says the book of the words. This is Tobit chapter 1. All right, chapter 1 verse 1. It says the book of the words of the Tobit son of Tobel, the son of Ananel, the son of Adul, the son of Gabriel, the seed of Asarel, of the tribe of Naphtali, who in the time of Esamar, king of the Assyrians. Now, who is that talking about? Let's go in here and let's put it in there for you. Let's go and put it in here, and let's go and show you who the king is talking about there. All right. So this is the AI overview. All right. In the biblical book of Tobit, Esamar is the name given to the Assyrian king who ruled during the time when Tobit was taken captive to Nineveh. However, this name is not found in the historical records of the Assyrian texts. Why? Because his name was Shalmaneser IV. All right, King Shalmaneser IV. All right. Okay. It says, see, this is how you know. Okay, and then you go down here. It says Tobit's account. The book of Tobit is part of the Apocrypha. Mentions Asamar, the king, Salakia, as the king who led the Israelites into exile. All right. You see, who is known as the conquest of the kingdom of Israel. The kingdom of Israel is talking about the northern kingdom. You had the southern kingdom, you had the northern kingdom. All right. And when they say the kingdom of Israel, is talking about the northern kingdom. All right. Who is known for his conquest of the kingdom of Israel. All right. It says, some scholars suggest that the initial syllable or shall was dropped, similar to how the name Nobopolassar was shortened in other texts. Right. It says, you see, so it gives you the see Shalmaneser right there. 727 to 722 BC was indeed the Assyrian king who besieged and captured Samaria, the capital of the northern kingdom of Israel, and departed its people. The event aligns with the narrative in Tobit and further supporting the identification of Elzamar or the Shalmaneser, right? Who was the Neo-Assyrian king, man. All right, which is spoken about in 2 Kings, the 17th chapter. All right, which makes Tobit canonical. Simple and plain. All right, makes the whole, matter of fact, the whole book of the Apocrypha is canonical. So whatever Christian come up to you while you out teaching, all right, or while you teaching, and they say, well, nah, that book ain't canonical. All you gotta do is just go into some history on him. You can break him down easily. Okay, history will kill whatever he got to say. Okay, because they don't know, man. They don't study. These Christians out here, they don't study nothing. They don't know nothing because the Spirit of the Lord ain't dealing with them. All right. You got to be able to put history together to understand history. You got to be able to understand what's going on and what happened and how we got to this point. All right. I'm not saying we, meaning the Israelites, us, because we are the people. We are those people. We are the chosen people. The so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Yes, we are those. We are the people. But, okay. But now, there is an elect among the elect. Okay? There's an elect among the elect. All right. So pretty much what just proved my point is that the book of Tobit is canonical. Okay? And for you clowns out there, all right, you better get your stuff together, man. All right? Get your shit together. Okay? You see? And as you can see, I left it up here on the screen. I, Tobit, walked all the days of my life in the ways of truth and justice, and I was in many aims, deeds to my brethren and to my brother, talk about Israelites, man, and my nation, Naphtali. He's from what? Come on, man. Who came with me to Nineveh into the land of the Assyrians. Cut. All right, so with that right there, brothers, I'm going to end it right there. I'm going to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahawah, Ba'ashem, Yahawashi, Ba'ashem, Arakah, Kodash, and double honor to the apostles and elders of great millstone who rule well. Peace and blessings and citations to the hopeful elect. Bayath, Dawadah, the house of David. Shalom, Baba Ball.